Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's video, we are looking at doing some post-mixing with the Orange Dark Terror here. So as much as we love using pedals, especially on this channel, and I always have lots of pedals rocking, I'm more keen in this video to see where we can take the sound if we don't use any pedals. So we'll go directly into here, through my load box, do some recording, and then see where we can take the guitars doing some post EQing there. So let's cue the little cartoon intro, let's start plugging stuff in, and let's start having some fun. All right, now I've got everything set up ready to go. Let's grab the guitar and let's see what sounds we can get out of the Orange Dark Terror here. So, volume's at 12 o'clock-ish. Let's get the shape happening a bit. Crank it. Ew, no, that's not good. So probably around about here-ish, I think. Not too bad. I'll roll down the gain just a tad. I think that will do. So let's leave it there. Let's say this is what we've got to work with. So no pedals, no nothing, just straight Dark Terror into my load box there. Let's do a quick couple of guitar tracking. So we'll do a left and a right, and then we'll hop on the actual computer and do some post EQing and see how we can shape it and how we can change it. So always check to see if you've got clicks first. There we go. And just like any good recording, just quickly double check your tuning. It's close. Yep. Yep. So I like to do it with harmonics because I find that's the cleanest and clearest way to do it. And the quickest. I didn't bother about tuning up the bottom three because we're not using that for this recording. Another little recording trick. Always have your guitar up first before you push the record button. Because the last thing you want to do is push record and then muck around trying to do other stuff before actually playing. And normally you wouldn't be having your back to the studio either if you're solo recording it. Okay, so we moved that from our tracking track, if you get the zen of that, into the left, and now we record again with the right. Okay, don't know if I did the right harmony there for that little part there, but we'll check that in a moment, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. So move that down there. Let me reset up the cameras now, and then we'll go into the post EQing part there. So definitely the playing's not the best, but it's absolutely fine for the purpose of this video. All right, now I've got everything set up here, ready to go through the EQing part. So first we take off the tracking, so we don't need to worry about that. So we can lower that a bit. So we've got our drums here, our two guitars left and right, and our bass down here, which is all working no problem at all. And let's just, and on both these tracks too, I have an IR cab, the same one running through all of them, to give us our sound that we like. So let's have a quick just listen to how it is just raw. So not too bad. Let's isolate the guitar so we can really hear what's going on. All right, so they're sounding pretty decent really, but we're here to improve them. So first thing I want to do, hopefully the screen grab is capturing this good, is let's EQ it. So first thing I want to do is, high pass there. So let's firstly have a look to see what frequencies we're dealing with. So first thing I like to do is just lower that down there, because you don't want to take away too much of the grunt and the bottom of the guitar, but you also don't want to steal that away from the drums and the bass as well. So to make it a little bit more cut through, a little bit more clearer, we do that. And I've also got a preset high pass here as well. Because if we have a look at around about the 10K mark, it's only tiny, but that's where a lot of the hiss comes through. So if we clean it up like that, so as you can see, it clears up a lot of that bad hiss that I don't like, I personally don't like. And because I've given it a little bit of a boost here as well, just in the in that treble section, so to speak, it's a lot more clearer too, like it's cutting through a lot better. So I'll do a quick just on and off with the EQ so you can hear. So that's my first step that I like to do to clean up. Now that's cleaned up nicely. If anyone said I'm happy with those guitars, I'd also be happy to go, yep, cool, let's progress on just with those, but we're here to push it. So what I also have here is just a little noise suppressor there to help keep the noise down as well. So if I turn that off and we play it from the start, there's a lot of hiss there. So we turn that on, play it from the start again. And there's only a little bit that sneaks through, but not much at all. And I've also got a max volume here as well. So I'll give you a quick example of what that sounds like on and off and why I use it. It just pushes it nicely and brings it more to the forefront. But the other trick I like using, and I'll move this for that so we don't actually screw with it, is I like to use an SSL channel strip as well. Always been a big fan of this. So a couple of things to take note of is I always keep the analog off because we don't want to emulate like all the errors and the little pops and issues because we're using a digital one. And as much as the presets are cool, I have my own one for guitars. So let's check this out and see if it sounds better or if it's not going to fit. So it's definitely pushed those mids up and made it a lot more punchier. So let's do a quick off and on as we're going so you can hear the difference. And let's do a quick on and off with the whole band going. So a lot more aggressive, a lot more cut through, and you can hear them a lot clearer. And how I normally come up with this is like if this was actually a more, I don't know how to describe it, a invested project, I would be delving in more and going through all these and altering them to cater for whatever guitars we just recorded. But to give you an example of how I like to do it normally is I solo it, we push play, and I go through each one and let's do it for example of this, this frequency setting here. Is I'll crank it, find the right frequency, and then dial it in how I want to. Back to the start. So there we have it. So time for some final thoughts on it, which is pretty much just, that's my approach really, it's how I like to do it. Go in, find the frequencies I don't, kind of crank it as loud as you can kind of go on this. Crank it, find the frequency, then dial it in the best on where I want it to actually sit. I like to get rid of, I got my kind of my go-to, so I look at that 10K type of mark to see exactly that hissy frequency that I don't like, to get rid of it, boost up a little bit more, same with the bottom end, get rid of just that bottom like woofing sound. And I say that because it's mainly coming from the subwoofer to really make sure it doesn't steal too many frequencies from the drums or the bass. And that's how I approach it. So the Dark Terror just by itself, you can take it to a decent place, without needing any pedals and all that. Not saying you don't need pedals. I do love pedals, and I always advocate using pedals to help shape it the way that you want it. But if we weren't to use it like in this video, this is a decent way on how to approach it. So hopefully you enjoyed this conversation and running through just this little quick tour of me playing and mucking around in the studio. Yeah, and hopefully we get a nice conversation happening down in the comments. So thank you very much for joining me with this. It's lots of fun, and I thoroughly look forward to chatting with you next time. And until next time, please stay safe.